Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Tell me.
Yeah. Hi.
Right.
My question is also very, very close to what Debojit had asked. Um, I've been kind of experiencing my thoughts.
Mhm.
Um, Before there was a lot of doership. Um, if there is a problem that arises in my life,
Mhm.
uh, there is a there's a doership that happens um, automatically. Um, but nowadays, what I observe is that if there is a problem that arises, there is a space
Mm.
that I have, and in this space, what I observe is that there are thoughts that keeps popping up. Um, these thoughts could be related to solutions for that problem,
Mm.
mm, or it could be something that could relate to me and about the problem. So here, what are these thoughts and what are the mind that you talk of? And um, just like Debojit asked, who's making the decision? So should I take any of these thoughts and make them work? Or what I've observed is that in the end, some decision happens, no
Mm.
matter what.
Mm.
So I can just relax and let the decision happen on its own.
Yes.
So this is something I have a question about.
Okay. So your question, let me get this right. So your question is, what are these thoughts, right? What are these thoughts?
Mhm.
Where are they stemming from? So thoughts are arising in consciousness, and the root of those thoughts is the conceptual self or me that says that I am thinking the thought. Now, the me is an image that is formed out of conditioning, lot of conditioning. It can be your childhood, environment, schooling, or all the forces that you were subjected to as a child. So this is an image, a very strong image, with right, wrong, moral, immoral, virtue, vice. All these forces are constantly acting. So thoughts by themselves are not the problem. In fact, if you talk about a space, now I'm sure you have mentioned that in that space you can see this whole thing playing, but you do not get affected, right? But
Yeah.
when the conceptual self comes up, which says, oh, I am the thinker, then it says I must take the right decision, I must choose the thought serves my that serves what I want the outcome to be. I want the outcome to be a particular way. In the end, life is just flowing through all of us. So outcome will be what life determines, you know, whatever universe determines. But we get caught up thinking that we are the thinker. So the whole idea is that at the root of it, there is no separate entity that is thinking anything. It is only thoughts that are arising in consciousness, playing in consciousness, and then disappearing also in consciousness. Taking ownership of the thought brings doership. And doership is only happening when we are attached to an outcome, when we want the outcome to be a particular way. you know I must take the right decisions in my life so that this happens, my relationships become stable, my work becomes stable, I progress more in my job, in my business, or I'll be more comfortable. It is all tied up to chain of thoughts. But when this chain breaks in awareness and one is completely restful, that light of witnessing is the one that illuminates everything. That is not separate from the content that it illuminates. So that is your playground, and that is the place for your rest. So when there is no sense of separation and one sees thoughts as arisings, there is generally not much concern with what the outcome is. But when I would say in your case, if you can see that the doership is happening, that seeing is also happening through the light of witnessing, you know, Because otherwise, if pure doership was happening and doer entity was all there was, that means there was only the mind and nothing else, only the doer entity, then you wouldn't know that the doership is happening. But something has revealed that there is something beyond. There is a light that is beyond, which is witnessing everything. Now, we cannot make any sense of it, but it brings about tremendous knowledge. Some people call it intuition. Some people, I like to call it insight. We can also use the word awakening. Try to refrain from using that word, but some people have suggested that I should use that word, so I use that word. But yes, it brings about this understanding. So that light itself will will basically bring about knowledge, a different kind of knowledge. So what happens is you will see these patterns playing out in your life, that you're getting caught up in thoughts, you're trying to choose an outcome and it's failing, right? It is bringing pain, it is bringing suffering. Now when this experience repeats, it may repeat 100 times, but at some point it will just click. There will be an understanding, a knowing that I have done this. This has happened many times. Now, it doesn't come about as thought. I'm just trying to give you an image of it as a thought. It just comes about as pure knowing that all the decision has been already made. So I just go with my instinct in the given moment. And that is all I can do. I can just make the choice. That much free will God has given me. God has given me the ability to make a choice. But after that, my free will is over. After that, what the outcome is not in my control.
Uh, mm, um, so there is a very strong thought that comes like, if I don't take a decision, then how will I solve the problem? And this has been a very, very strong thought
Hmm.
that is there. And it's impossible to think beyond that, right? So I have observed, like, when I just observe that also,
Hmm.
there will eventually become a solution to it.
Yes,
Somehow something
exactly.
happens, but this keeps repeating, like when there is another problem that comes, like just like our life, like every time there is problems, but this thought is very strong, like if I don't do anything about it, then and it's pushing me, like if I don't do anything about it, then
Yeah,
who is going to do it?
that's
So
okay.
what should I do about this?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Just let it happen all organically. See, the understanding will not come through a specific doing. It will just come in the light of being. What is happening? See, you can see it that the thought comes and it is strong. You can see the strength of it also. But in the end, you also know that eventually what has to happen happens. Despite my getting worried about it, trying to solve it, we get so preoccupied with trying to find the solution that sometimes we forget to look at the problem and see if the problem really is there or not. How solid is the problem? You know, the word problem, which is like something thrown at you, is tied to the separation, to the separate entity. Separate for the separate entity, the problem is like something thrown at it. So, what are you going to do? Either you're going to dodge or you're going to catch it. What else can you do? Now, once you understand this and you see this pattern repeating in your life, it's going to break this doership cycle by itself because you are aware. That awareness, I can see that awareness is there in you. You can see it is strong, but at the same time you can also see that you're getting caught up with the idea of trying to solve it is also not helping it. So both of these understanding are happening. Now I understand that it causes pain, it causes dissonance, and I would say that that can be your spiritual practice. That can be your sadhana, where you see that despite the intellectual understanding, it is still not dawning into the heart of being, which is fine. At some point, it is just going to break the subject object split, the, the one that thinks there is a problem. separate from itself. So
Um, uh,
just let it play out. Let the thought play out, and just see what's happening. That's all I would say. Yeah, go on.
no, thank you. Thank you very much. All I know is that there is a lot of um, like relaxation involved in this, and it gives me lots of peace. So thanks a lot for this.
You're most welcome. All right.